This is another edition with Observations with Otsu, and this is Otsukimi here, as you'd imagine. If you are unfamiliar with this, first of all, just take a second to like, subscribe, whatever you want. Doesn't matter to me. I'm here to provide good content for you, so if you like it, like, subscribe. Also, if you're unfamiliar, this is more of a short form into what the weekly has looked like in the past, how price action looks like going into the Monday morning, kind of the weekly open-esque kind of period of the week. We'll take a look at how that might affect this week, and we'll go from there. So it's kind of like an abstract macro perspective. I probably won't go much lower than 4 hour, and that might even just be briefly. So mainly focus on 1 week, 1 day time frames. Usually I cover the total market cap first as an overview. I don't typically do SPX and NASDAQ. I just not really one of those type of people. A lot of other people do it better than me anyway. I focus mainly on crypto exclusively with no correlations, anything like that. I don't look too much into that because I don't think you need to. Whether that's true or not, I've never had to do it for 5 years, and so I don't plan on doing that really ever. So I'm gonna look at the total market cap. Usually do that first. Bitcoin, Ethereum. Usually look at the ETH BTC pair. Usually look at one of these two. I've been looking at Solana less, just mainly because I did at the outset of the FTX market, but I've been focusing more on BNB the past 2 weeks. And then you guys also made some requests for GRT, OP, things like that. I'll try to remember the rest of them. And then I'll give you a little bit of sneak peek on the Apex as well. Speaking of Apex, I'm going to plug this for just a second because the registration has been starting. I'm sending out invites today, and the program starts December 5th. So we got 1 week exactly before the Apex starts. I've got a pretty good wait list already. It technically got filled last week. I went ahead and opened it for the holidays for about 5 more seats. Definitely, if you're interested in, doesn't hurt to just fill out the form and let me contact you, and then we can go from there. We'll contact you via Discord based off of the name that you give me. And just very, very briefly, if you don't know what Apex is, it's a 12-week boot camp where I go over 3 strategies. The Aroon Pro trading strategy, which is a strategy I created based off of the Aroon indicator system. So I developed a whole new subsystem for advanced trades with that indicator. I'm also going to go over price action trading, and also going to cover momentum-based trading. So you got all 3 of those, and the idea of the Apex system is how to incorporate all 3 of those seamlessly together. Over 50 hours of content. I know I keep changing the number. It's somewhere between, it's definitely 50 or more, but 50 to 55 hours of video content, which includes education. I'm even going to dish out homework. That's completely optional. Again, your personal involvement if you want. 4 trading bots. I've been sharing the bots in real time in my Telegram. They're coming from the Discord group, but I'm sharing them in Telegram this week. So that's another thing to keep in mind. If you just want a free taste, join my free Telegram. It's in the pinned tweet. It's on my pinned tweet in my Twitter feed. So all that being said, that's it with the Apex. Fill out the form. I'll send a link in the description. Again, 2-3 spots left maybe. So anyway, you're here for the video. If you want a long form version to this, I do a long form version about an hour and a half on Wednesdays, and that'll cover just random casual thoughts. It's called Casual Crypto and Coffee. I review some coffee, go over the charts, just kind of chilling as I would normally as I drink a cup of coffee, and that's about it. So going back into this, let's see what we have from a weekly macro perspective. So we'll go to the total market cap, as I usually do. And we'll see here on the weekly. So we had, I mean, you could say bullish week. I mean, you can always say that about any green candle, maybe. I mean, bullish in its concept, right? And we engulfed that, which was good. But I can never get this to zoom in. But as you can see, we're still way below this area here. Like this block right here is obviously a major block that we want to step up above in order to get kind of a rally going. So until this breaks above this level, this is just a bearish retest in the making potentially. One thing that we can note, and I'll show this more on Bitcoin, is that we do have a divergence here. So here's a low, go from low to lower low, and then go from the low here to the higher low. So we do have a valid 2-week divergence. I don't normally share it, but I also have a buy signal on one of my scripts that I'm going to be showing for Aroon. The reason this, you might be seeing this here, and the reason this is invalid is because we didn't get a divergence on there. We got a divergence afterward, which caused the drop. So, which we also got a signal here. So we got 2 signals up here, and this was the start of the divergence. This was the 3rd one. So technically, all 3 of these are connected, but the second 2 are what you want to look at. So if you would have seen this in April 21, which I'm not sure I even did, this is part of our divergence. This would have set that off. So that's why. That's not necessarily a false flag, is basically what I'm saying. Whenever I have a signal here that's confirming with a divergence, and this is what I'll teach in Apex a little bit, is when Aroon, this is an Aroon liquidity script. The buy and sells show how Aroon looks at liquidity gaps. When it gets a signal, that means there's a liquidity gap. What that means is it's more likely to go in the direction that it says, more so than downward. And if it does go the opposite direction, it goes really fast. So whenever these signals are paired with other things like divergences especially, those become much more valid versus something like this. So that's what I kind of want you to see. And I say that because there's a lot of FUD right now. A lot of it is very emotional based. I'm not discounting it. It's a scary market right now. It's designed to be scary, but it's also designed to get even more scary so that you lose money. The whole aspect of the Wall Street cheat sheet is that you lose money in the anger phases and depression phases and things like that. And I just think the FUD there's a lot of valid FUD. I don't want to discount that. I really, really don't. But people are just over embellishing, like they're falling down in a football game. I almost said soccer. I'm American, but it's like they're embellishing in a football game, and that's what I see now. Is like there's an over dramatic response to a lot of this. And don't get me wrong, if you were involved in the recent BlockFi or Gemini, which I lost some money from Genesis trading, or FTX or whatever. Yeah, it impacts you. It definitely does. I feel that. I really do. But you got to kind of ignore that and go with your intuition and what the market shows versus your emotions. So, and let me get rid of all that, because that's a thing that's more exclusive. So this is what that looks like on the daily, and you can see we're already starting to recover. That's what I'm saying. Like we're kind of getting that moment where we're too scared and too much FUD, and then it goes the opposite way that you think it will. So anyway, see here, consolidation, break above, break down, consolidation. So right now, if I was trading the total market cap, which I don't, you can't. As a market structure itself, I would wait for the market to go above or to retest to go down. Simple. All right, we'll go to Bitcoin. Go on the weekly. Let's go to the different. As you can see, I'm not hiding my alerts. I just Don't feel like I need to. And I've got contingencies what if they don't fill, so not concerned about it. Anyway, had kind of a really strange formation for last week. Again, technically bullish. The wick, see if I can zoom in more. The wick below with the close above is a good sign. That is a good sign. And I think, yes, I got the bias as well with the divergence on the 2 week. So again, same principles are valid. That doesn't mean it's going to go straight up 100% right now. What I think is your maximum opportunity for shorts is done. I'm very, very, very confident that reversals are coming very shortly, and that doesn't mean we won't go lower. I still think we do. As you can see, I had bids to go lower, so I'm prepared for that, right? But the time to be, concerned about long-term down move price action is over, and I don't, unless there's a major event where like Coinbase and Binance shut down together, then I don't think it's, and even if that happens, let's say that does, like, there's one of the things I'm thinking of too is you just had the number 2 major player fall out right here, right? And you had other ones. You had Genesis Trading, which affected Gemini, and Gemini is not a major player in my opinion, but I mean they're recognized as a more professional one, which is kind of ironic. You had the Celsius, you had the Luna. Luna was like way back here, right? And then you had BlockFi today, but look what BlockFi is doing. Nothing. Like we're not even making a current low right now, and that was released like 2 hours ago. So, and then we got this, like I'm not saying, and I think it was here, and then here we got that. I'd have to check. And then on the Aroon here, we even have a cross up, and usually that means the bullish trend will succeed. So I'm not too concerned because you can only get so much FUD. Because once, let's say the top 10 major exchanges just fall off the map right now, right? Is the market going to die? It might. But also you got to understand, if there's no exchanges to trade on, there's no liquidity. And if there's no liquidity, either you're going to have very insane price movements in a bad way, or you're going to have something like this. You're going to have like the zigzag, like up here, down and up. So that's the thing. As there becomes less people trading, as there becomes more, less people trading means the trading is not going to happen as much. Okay, like there's not as many market makers as there used to be. There's not as many big players right now. So when let's say you take, as of right now, let's say, versus like up here, 99% of the people are gone. We're right here, okay? For every 100 people that were here, there's only like 1 or 2 people left here. And that's you. If you're listening, this is you. You're here. And if you survive from here, that's a good thing. You don't necessarily get a cookie for that, and I don't mean to be rude by that, because you still got to do, but that does give you high opportunities to get your cookies up here. So there's a lot of hope in that. So don't give up now. Don't be fuddish now when the FUD already happened 5 times this year. And that's the thing. Like, you get so used to FUD and all these other things, and these are major things. I'm not discounting that, but the more you let that get to you, the more it'll affect you when it doesn't need to affect you. And I've seen this before. I used to work at other places where it was a very high stress environment, and those people would, after those moments of high stress, they would stay stressed about very little things, like why is there a piece of trash on the ground? Like they start to let that be their personality, I guess is what I'm saying. And don't let this FUD be your personality. Okay? Find out the opportunities to where you can take advantage when the market will let you take advantage. So that being said, we can look on the 2 week. So again, there's a divergence playing out. I think I got a buy there as well. Yep, sell, buy. So this is I know this sounds really cliche and dumb, but this is part of my Apex program. Um, you will also get the scripts. You will get this one in addition to a trend script, an Apex script, and then a volume-based Aroon script as well. Let's look at the daily. So, we had a slow bleed over the weekend. Kind of trying to cross up now. Nothing really too much to say. Aroon is bullish consolidation, so that's why I am expecting to come up. I think we can get to 17.8. The funny thing is that I'm thinking that we're going to go up to here, and then when people get to here, we're going to be like, oh, it's going to be, we're going to be bullish, and we're hitting a bearish retest. So don't think that this means I think we're going to go to 100,000, but I do think this is something to consider as far as a major pivot point, right? So like if we get up to maybe like here, if we can reclaim something like this area and get up above here like 22.5, much more confident in there. So I have bought some. I think I bought on this candle somewhere. I bought somewhere in the mid 16s. So I honestly don't know if I'm underwater. I'm not. It's a 2-year hold, so not too concerned about a couple $100. All right, going to Ethereum. Once again, it's going to be a longer video than I expected, but I'm here for you guys. So 1 week, slowly going under that consolidation. Not sure what. Let's change the chart. Not sure why that's there, but I don't want to delete it. Just in case. So we're getting kind of a rounded bottom right here on the weekly, and again, this is one thing where we have not broken this range yet. So don't think about it. Don't position yourself into a short that may not happen. Like, use technical analysis. That's what we're here for. There's a lot of people out there that do it, but we had kind of a let me get rid of all this. There we go. So drop down to here to that $1,000 psychological range. Had a bump up. Round. This doesn't really confluence with anything that I see offhand. Now we got kind of a rounded retest from this area here. So if you can see from here, it goes to here. So we are technically under. So we got kind of like a weird setup right there. So what you really want to do is take a block, and I use a block with like a fib level, and then you kind of go like that. You could probably go up to the top of this range. So that's kind of why we're there. I would not even touch this with a bigger short or anything. I wouldn't even be, if I currently had Ethereum, I wouldn't even be selling it until we got lower here. And I probably still wouldn't, because I'm probably be buying more. But what you want to see bullish from this perspective is a weekly hold of 1,300. If you want to buy more on the downside, I'd wait for a new local low. But that's remains to be seen at this point. So anyway, so that's with that. Briefly, 2 weeks, nothing special. Had the bearish engulfing, retesting here. This kind of makes me. This is also a bearish breaker, so we might get that over here, the 1260, 1270. I think we're just gonna. I honestly, we might just chop with Ethereum for the next week. Aroon is looking pretty good here with the slim bullish consolidation. Technically, this is technically a bullish consolidation because we're still up from this level, but not by much. So that's not really worth too much at the time. But this a lot of people are looking at the daily like this is just a jumbled mess, right? And really, it boils down to this range. I got a lot of crap on here, but It's really just a break above or break below. That's basically what this. I would probably even put it down to here. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. Nothing really fancy with that. It's not a good chart, but that's what you got to work with, right? And so a lot of one bad thing about this market is you can't really swing trade. You can only do scalps, or you can only do. Let's just get rid of all this. Or you can only do scalps, or you can only do like really high time frame spot, like for the next year, right? So so that is what it is. But one thing I was going to mention was with my Apex again. So this is one of the scripts that's going to be on the Apex, and so you see these buys and sells. I think I briefly talked about this, but you have you have buys and sell signals, and you don't really know how to react. So like I said, the divergence plays a big key. So you had a low here, but you had a high. So this is a divergence with the buy. So you want to consider buying here. You did get a lower low, but you also got the high as well. So you could have done either one or two things. You could have bought more here, or you could have got stopped and buy heavier here, and you'd be okay. Here, same thing. You had a higher high, you had a sell signal with a lower low, so that activated the short. And this is the short that I played out on Twitter as well. If you go up here, you can see that this buy signal was not valid because there's no divergence. So and this was also the I believe that was also the FTX thing as well. So something to consider. I'm going to go to ETH/BTC, and I think on the weekly it's kind of just a jumbled mess. Let's take a look here. Yeah, I think I've mentioned this the past 2 weeks. There's just not a lot of work with here. It's just chop city until you get a larger move from Bitcoin or Ethereum. Does it say anything on the monthly? Kind of going into a bearish perspective, kind of going into bullish consolidation on the Aroon. So that makes me think that we're going to get like a break above here. Or maybe I should just do a mean triangle, So something like this. I think it might just be as simple as a break above. I honestly do. Because it's just so choppy, even on a weekly time frame. So that's really it with that. There's not much to say. And unfortunately, not a lot of people trade Ethereum Bitcoin anymore. A lot of exchanges got rid of it. So Kraken is one of the few that does, but I can't trade Kraken anymore. So briefly, we'll go into some coins here. Start with Solana and Binance first. On Solana, get rid of this here. Had kind of a bullish engulfing week, so we got some potential hope here. Getting the retest right here. You can see that on the daily. I've already had this marked out. Can't really tell you why. I think I did it in my Wednesday video. Got a solid bullish consolidation here. It's getting slimmer, going into a wedge. That's a good sign. That's what you want to see out of a recovering coin. So we'll see how that goes. This here is a concern. We need to get above this level, and probably more likely above. So what I'd probably do is I would probably wait till it break above here, put my stop below this line, and then target something like this or beyond. At this point, Solana, I'm still interested in a high time frame hold. We'll see how it goes. So far, it's doing okay, surprisingly, amongst all the FUD out there. So on Binance, another bullish week, kind of inside this channel here. So we're working with this. Again, it's one of those moves. Break up above that, break down below. That's what you want to look at. This is a very interesting thing on the Aroon. Very, very tight, very high consolidation. That usually, it kind of results in a little bit of like a, how should I say this? Like the opposite of a slow bleed, like a upwards momentum, or like this, for example. So like we started right here and here, and so like what you saw at the beginning of that to the bottom is like this. So we should see like kind of a slower bleed and then like an impulse up. So I'm kind of looking at that as the same. Now, one thing to consider is also, and I'll teach this in Apex, the higher this is up on the trend, the more impact it has. So you might see something a little bit more aggressive. You know, I can't draw it right. Let's see. So something like that. You never know. I'm not saying it'll go that high. I mean, or it might last because it is high here. It's gonna last longer as well. So let's see if I draw that out. So we won't get too much longer, but so from here to here, I think we'll be higher than where we're at right now. Is basically what I'm saying, and probably probably much more so than you think. So like the consolidation here is, you know, this is probably similar to like something like right here. So you know, we made, you know, 65% move. Let's see. So we could potentially go to the 500 mark. So this is somewhere around there. And this also lines up with this level here. So there's some real time thinking with Aroon there. If you want a piece of what's coming. So I can see us getting to this level right there. So that's a good thing. I didn't see that before, but that's why I do these reviews. So daily, unfortunately, is like super chop, right? So just nothing really worth. Like I said, swing trades are just not profitable right now. Now I'm gonna go over some alts. I think I'm gonna try to go over the ones that I remember. I'll try to look on the Twitter if I can. OP was one of them. Had the bullish day. Did not have the engulfing like many other coins did. I think that's a sign that a lot of people are focusing on Bitcoin and Ethereum and the majors more than the altcoins. So that's something to consider. I don't think I would be too involved in any swing trades for altcoins anyway. I wouldn't even do scalps because the liquidity is much better on Bitcoin and Ethereum. And I think for altcoins, it's mainly just long-term buys at the moment to consider. On the daily, had the retest from this level here, but we're kind of doing the slow bleed. Had the jump up here, wasn't effective, so we're kind of like in this range here. Let's get rid of that. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. Again, I wouldn't short this. I'm not sure you can even short OP. I think maybe you can on BingX. Another thing I see is we have the bullish consolidation. That is a wedge, which usually is a sign of accelerated bullish price action, but we're not getting that price action. We're actually going down, so that's a bad sign. This is a coin you don't want to really be in right now. If I had to trade this forcibly, I would probably wait for a high time frame divergence, or I'd probably be interested to buy here. Maybe. I think I would rather wait to see if I can buy down here at the 60-cent range, because you have a much better structure right here. You have these set of wicks in combination with the wicks from here. There's a divergence here, and then you had this structure impulse here. So this beige area would be where I would be interested to buy long term, and possibly even a swing. But this is where I would look for. And other than that, I don't think I would buy on an up move just yet. I'd probably wait for a higher time frame trend, like a 3 or 4 day, probably 4 day. But this is where I would look at. Let's see. GRT. I think somebody said the graph. So I do like the graph. This is one of my coins that I would like to do really good next bull run, but the chart looks really bad. On the weekly time frame, we did get the bullish engulfing. Let's see what we got here. Did get the buy with the divergence, so that's a good sign. This may be an opportune time. Let's see what the line chart looks like. And so, like, really, there's no way to kind of line anything up. This is where TA kind of gets kind of fuzzy, because there's nothing that you can really do. You know, after a while, you start figuring out, you start trying to play all these things, and now you're just trying to fit a narrative. So, but one thing I do see, I had my liquidity buy, like I showed you. You got the 2-week divergence as well. No, you don't. You do not. So that's something to consider. That might cause a temporary move up, but then it might come back down. What I would like to see as a buyer, I'm not interested, even though I did see the buy, I'm not interested to buy this at this level, because we lost this major level here. So I would like to see a reclaim of this level, and I'm okay waiting. You know, I mean, that 3x is something you don't want to miss, but if it goes up that high, chances are you have a much better chance at this. So that's something I'd like to see. But the 40x is pretty nice as well. I just don't see anything at the moment that would justify a buy at this time. And I mean it may happen. I don't know. I mean, that doesn't look too bad. But you know, like I said, I did get the weekly buy on there, so that's worth considering. If you wanted to play the weekly buy, I would probably, and again, this is something I probably wouldn't do in general now, but if I was forced to buy at market, I'd probably do something like this, just below the label, and then target something like this. Or you could even go up here. So that's something to consider as well. So I think I saw Engine Coin. Haven't heard that one in a while. Got another buy. I'm gonna get rid of that. Let's see. So again, this is very similar to GRT. Got the bullish candle, but didn't really get the engulfing like many other coins did. Got the bullish wedge starting here, but there's just nothing to go on. You know, we broke down new levels, so from a price action perspective, there's not a whole lot there. So that's just something to keep in mind. I don't really think I'd be trading this. And this is kind of turning into more of a legacy coin. So I'm not sure I would use it for the time being. So let's see. GMX was another one. Sorry, I want to make sure I get these requests. GMX. And I don't know what that is. So let's see if there's a different one. Binance. Oh, this is weekly, that's why. I don't know if... Does it have a longer one? Yeah, CoinX does. So immediately what I see off of this, so from a weekly perspective, we have kind of a larger chop. Ultimately, you're going to see a play out of this range. Now that's a big range. I wouldn't necessarily be concerned about that. But this will show like the long-term momentum or lack thereof. So that's what I'm looking at from that perspective. And from the daily, one thing I see is we had this level here that was recovered twice. So that's something I would consider maybe along at this range. You also kind of have like a little meme-ish type of scenario here. which could also dictate a major move if this is a descending triangle. So that's something to consider. A break of this would be a good sign. Breakdown obviously would not. You had this here, which was a breaker, so it should have retested there, which it did, so that's a good sign. I think this is worth a go, in my opinion. If I had to trade this, I'd probably wait for something like down at this level, and maybe like do something like this. Roughly, that's what I would personally do. I don't think I am trading GMX, and I don't have CoinX, so that's kind of what I see. Either, and again, it boils down to wait for a major test to happen or a major break to happen. And this is kind of a young coin versus other ones, so it's more prone to doing what it wants versus typical textbook TA. So that's something to consider. Let's see, what else do we got? I think it was just those four. So so there you have it. I mean, it's a crazy market right now, and again, I guess I wouldn't emphasize on the weekly. We had kind of a liquidity move to this past week. I'm very excited about this. I think this means that the largest parts of the bear market are over. You probably could have guessed that already from the big drop down, but I'm hoping that we don't fill these as much as I think that we will. And if we do, I'm prepared for it. If not, I'm also prepared for it. You got to be prepared for everything. Be prepared for everything, right? Like centralized exchanges. Don't put 100% of your money on one central exchange. That's what leverage is for. If you're using leverage, stick with a 10x and only keep a maximum of 10% of your portfolio on that exchange. So now you have the same equivalency of that 100% of your portfolio, but you're only risking 10%, right? That's part of it. And I'll teach that in Apex as well. I'll teach a lot of statistics as we get to like the more advanced weeks, like week 10 or 11. So as the weeks go by, it'll get more advanced. And by the time you get to week 8, it might feel a little overwhelming. That's okay. You can take these videos home after you've finished them. But it's going to be separate into 4 weeks per month, obviously. And by the time week 9 shows up, that's when it gets really advanced, and you'll need to understand the previous 8 weeks to get to that point. So anyway, that's really all I got. I'm hopeful for the rest of the year. I do think that we'll be higher in price by the end of this year. We got about 35 days to go. So we'll see how that goes. But anyway, really apologize for this video being as long as it is. I'm sure it's twice as long as what I thought it was. Hope you enjoyed it. Like, subscribe if you want. Longer video coming out Wednesday. And stay tuned. Thank you.